Yeah. So anyway, yeah. So she's the one who told me not to come. I said, "You told me not to come." And she says, "Oh yeah." All right, whatever. Yeah, no, I was supposed to be gone all week. Anyway, so here's the thing. So like literally whole countries are locked down. Obviously, China's locked down. Italy's locked down. A lot of things are being canceled, like church services and things like that. Conventions are being canceled, you know, large gatherings of people. They're trying to avoid whatever they can, being in groups of people. So it's a real thing, and people are now being quarantined into their homes. People who have been, 6 politicians have been, including the president was exposed. I don't think they're quarantining him, but the 6 guys who came in contact with the person, the president didn't come in direct contact with him, but the 6 people came in direct contact with the president that came in contact with the guy that was infected. So,
That's crazy.
yeah, it is crazy, right? But it's a fast spreading kind of contagious thing. So we have to be aware of that people are going to be asked to quarantine in their homes. Cruise ships are coming back and they're saying, you got 20 victims on your, that are sick, and we're not letting you guys off, sorry. So, and then they're slowly taking them off, the ones that aren't sick, and then they're sterilizing these cruise ships. And I'm like, God help you if you get on one, that's crazy, they're like petri dishes. Which reminds me, if you have traveled, don't be talking to the customer about it, especially if you've been on a cruise ship, because you're going to freak people out. What I'm trying to do is bring some awareness to you guys that this is a real deal. People are sensitive to what's going on. It is what it is. And you have to really, really walk a fine line that you can't scare people into making a decision. Because if people get, the idea that, hey, you're scaring me into doing this, but what you could say is something to the effect that, we've always been, I don't want to scare you, just say it. We've always been selling indoor air quality, and here's why, this is what it does, and I'm just letting you know, this is my job, is to make sure that you make an informed decision. There's this product available that does this. It may not be for you, but you kind of want to back it up a little bit and not be pushy at all about it. Like, hey, you're gonna die if you don't buy this, kind of a thing. You don't want to go there. Okay, so just be very, very sensitive to that. Same thing with things that people might be going, I think I'll put that off. It's really important that you get your furnace, air conditioner tuned up, or you get this or that done, because we don't know where this is going in 6 months, 3 months from now, where it's going to be summer, it's going to be hot, and God forbid you're going to be asked to quarantine in your house and your air conditioner doesn't work, or you don't have air conditioning. So those are the types of things that I want you guys to think about, but also be very, very sensitive to how you say it. Okay. If you don't feel comfortable talking about it, you can ask me to talk about it, or if you'd like, you can invite the customer to talk to me about it, etc. Because I just come from a perspective, hey, we're there to protect our customer. When we see something, we say something, and we have information they don't have, and they're going to want that information, but just don't be so damn pushy about it. Like I said, tell them they're going to die if they don't get this. But you got to bring up the realities. Hey, if, God forbid you have to quarantine in place, but if you did, you want to know the peace of mind that you've got your water heater's new. It's under warranty. Because they are literally, businesses are being asked to, in other countries, close, and businesses now out here are being asked to effectively close.
Yeah.
Chokella, or whatever it's called. Yeah, Chokella, whatever. Coachella. Got my H's in the wrong place. Extra H. Anyway, yeah, I mean, can you imagine the fiscal impact for all the people involved, you know? And in that scenario, the band's not gonna sit up there and play by themselves. Right? It's not like the sports have to keep playing, but they're gonna be playing to empty stadiums, which is gonna be weird, you know, when you think about it, like creepy weird. But yeah, it's getting creepier and creepier. You saw what happened. I'm sure a lot of you saw what happened or heard what happened yesterday on the stock market. 2,000 point drop. Yeah.
Jesus.
Largest point drop ever. I think 2 or 3 times the market closed during the day to stop the selling. They have these emergency cutoffs. When they drops too fast, they stop trading. And that happened a few times yesterday.
Penny stocks are on pause too. People are just not buying. They can't flip.
Yeah, so good news is the market's back up 800 points today. But there's some weird shit going on out there. And yeah, just need you guys to be aware of it. So keep that in mind when you're inspecting these water heaters and when you're seeing customers defer things, you know, till later. You know, choices might not be so good in a few months from now. And that's one of my concerns is that, you know, God forbid we're not allowed to do our jobs anymore. We're screwed. You know? And that's where, you know, because I know I'm in the same boat you guys are. I don't have a great deal of savings. Everything I have is right here, you know. So we gotta make hay while the sun shines here, because you know we don't know what's gonna happen. And to that point, we're kind of ground zero here. I mean, this is China Central. You know, Tina felt that, you know, she was at Costco the other day. She goes, everybody's wearing masks, everybody's wearing gloves. She says all the tellers are wearing masks and gloves. And she said, you know, it's so creepy. And I go, well, here's the thing. I go, you think about it as a teller, and it's not even the teller's choice. You know, the person who checks you out, it's not even their choice to wear those masks and those gloves.
Right.
Costco is afraid of getting sued.
Right.
You know, and plus
somebody else blaming Costco
Right.
for them getting sick of Costco.
Right, because they're making sure their employees are properly protected. So to that point, make sure, especially when you're in house taking apart a furnace, which we're going to be doing today, should be wearing masks. You know, because what you're exposing where air ducts. I used to get colds all the time when I took out a furnace.
Same.
Yeah, and then I realized, shit, I got to wear a mask. You know, so that's a real risky place to be, especially now. So you guys make sure you're wearing masks when you go into people's. Don't freak them out, but when you're going into attics or you're taking apart a furnace or anything like that, make sure you do that. Especially if you're doing duct cleanings or shit like that. You know, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, you want to make sure that you're protecting yourselves. You're wearing gloves, etc. Especially plumbers. You're in bathrooms. You know, that's where people are coughing and sneezing and blowing their noses and everything else. You know, so you kind of want to just really wash your hands a lot. You know, we've got all of you guys got gloves. If you don't have masks, we'll make sure we get enough for everybody today, so that you all have them in the trucks. Any questions? Okay, so on to another subject, same subject sort of, but we're a lot more success with the coil inspections and everything else. We're killing it. We had almost $18,000 sale yesterday, and now it's just on one tune-up. Same guy, William. You know, keeps doing pulling the same routine. You know, so it's really effective. We're working on getting installers in place. You know, so you know, we can function normally, because I don't want you guys doing the installs. As it is today, I'm going to be doing an install. So anyway, but I'll be available if you guys need to pull me off on a job.
Why are you doing the install?
Because Chris is new,
Um,
and William's new, and those are the guys doing the installs. Jesse and Mike are tied up at Joni Trempolo's,
Right.
because 8 systems and
Right.
a lot of work.
Yeah.
There's a lot of work there.
Yeah.
And Mike really knows that property well, and he's leaving, so.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, anyway, yeah. That's pretty much it. For any questions, anything? No? You guys are all good? Okay?
Regarding air scrubbers, we can tell customers it's gonna protect them from virus?
Yeah, now you can go online and print brochures. You know, first of all, back up a little bit, Geary Pacific has the air scrubbers, but a cheaper version. It's basically the same thing. There are a lot of PCOs out there, but they have a brochure. You could either get them there or print them out online, or email the brochure, even better, to a customer explaining what they do, and mentioning to them that, you know, hey, this will help. It's not gonna, you know, but you know, if there's something floating around the house, the flu virus, you know, it'll kill it. You know, so it does kill viruses on contact, and the air comes through the coil. And I always mention to customers too that, you know, what the evaporative coil does. I take pictures and show them, even other pictures, like if I see mold on a coil, I usually have a picture of that. And odors that are associated with its bacteria starting to grow. When you think about it, this is a surface where you have dirty air coming across the surface that captures the dirty air, because what gets past your filter, a lot of times that's bacteria of some kind, right? And
Things
then
that are too small to
it's
get
moist
caught on
and
the
in a dark place.
Right.
So what happens is that, especially when it gets wet, every time you turn it on, it activates that bacteria. So that bacteria starts to come alive, the molds and things like that. The molds are actually more, I think, more of a problem to people with respiratory issues than anything else. But when you let the person know that, hey, inside this box, it gets wet all the time every time you turn your air conditioner on, and it's dark. And dirty air gets by that filter unless you have a good filter, which is another reason to get a good filter. And you can start to build up mold and you know, other things start to grow on that. It's like a petri dish, in fact. So the only way to deal with that is to get a PCO on that sucker.
Yeah, but regarding coronavirus, is it gonna kill coronavirus?
Yes, it can. Yes.
We can give those promises to customers?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
It'll say on there that it'll kill viruses. It'll say right on the brochure.
I'm just thinking if
So you kind of want to
like
point. You
giving
kind of want
maybe
to.
99%,
Yeah.
but not maybe 100%.
Mm-hmm. Nothing's 100% effective. Nothing. Yes.
Besides that, you can catch somewhere outside that and
Mhm.
outside of your house, and
Yeah.
then they still get ill.
Yeah. And they help with pollens and all that other stuff, you know. So yeah, it's odors.
Summer right around the corner.
But you know, this is something that everybody's gonna want.
Mm-hmm.
I have it in my house. You know, I have one on both ends. So I have one over my coil, and then I have one in my return.
Yeah.
So you know, yeah, I'm into it, big time. Yeah, and it's so funny because I have a Lennox system, right? And I remember one summer we turned on the air conditioner. It was only maybe 2 years old, maybe a year old. And I was like, oh my God, it smelled like there was like a dead animal in my ductwork. It smelled really bad. It was what was growing on the coil. Yeah. The minute that air conditioner came on, like you wanted to throw up. It was like nauseating smell. It was bad.
That's something that interests me about because some of the air scrubbers are on all the time. Some of them are only on when the system's on.
Mm-hmm.
And I've noticed that the one that's on all the time is probably the stronger idea.
Yeah.
That way it's still killing the things that are on the coil, and even the stuff that's just sitting in there, in that space.
Right.
But I think and you can set them up either way in many cases.
Yeah.
But I think actually the air scrubber itself says on the directions, it says to put it in line with the system being turned on. That kind of threw me off.
Mm-hmm.
But I found out with the APCO,
Mm-hmm.
the one that Gary Pacific does, that's on constantly 24/7, whether the system's on or not.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
I'd rather pay
yeah.
for the bulb. I mean, you're paying for the damn system.
You're paying for the thing anyways.
Replace the
It's-
bulb once a year. Who
Yeah.
cares? You know, instead of twice a year. I mean, yeah.
And there's all there. I actually liked. We did theirs recently.
Mhm.
I saw the APCO. I like that setup a little better than I think I do the air scrubber.
Yeah.
But also there's additional pieces to it,
Mm-hmm.
which makes it kind of funky.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. I just heard
Uh,
about it. You know,
Basically air scrubber with bulb instead of inside. It's just below it,
Mm-hmm.
and there you can also get an attachment that brings another bulb that you put directly in the A of the coil,
Right. Which is ideal.
which is ideal, right?
So
That
what
way you catch it before it hits the coil.
what we're talking about is the coil looks like this, and we typically it's one side is over here, you know, the surface area here, like a radiator, and then the other side is on this side, right, on the top side. And we typically put the PCO UV light, if you will, on top, so it hits the outside edge, but not the inside.
So it's after the coil.
Right.
And so the
So it's
air
kinda-
gets hit after it hits the coil instead
Right.
of before it hits the coil.
So that's nice that the APCO has that option,
That's
because
interesting, yeah.
you're hitting both sides of the coil, now you're penetrating both sides,
I thought, yeah.
which is like,
When I
that's
saw it, I
cool.
was like, "That's cool. All right."
I like that.
That's not the one we ended up getting, but but I didn't even know there was really much of a difference between the two until I
Yeah.
actually read it. Yeah.
Well, I think, you know, when you know, homeowners are offered the option, you say like, I'm protecting both sides of your coil, like
Yeah.
most of them are here, we do both, yeah. Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah.
It's double strength,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
If you're gonna go big.
yeah,
Yeah.
right?
It's not like it's a cheap thing, anyways.
Yeah.
So it's like, all
But,
right,
you
go
know,
big.
think about your health, how much
Yeah.
that's worth, you know, just, yeah. So, yeah, and I go into gyms, you know, and I'm like, I'm always wearing gloves.
Yeah.
Like, now I'm like full gloves, man, they don't even see my fingertips anymore. Yeah, it's like, no way. Yeah, and there's Purell everywhere, right?
Right.
So, yeah, it's a thing, you know, it's a big thing now, so, and it's not going away, and it's gonna get a lot worse before it gets better, so. Yeah,
I was thinking we should use the coronavirus to sell water filters.
water filters? Coronavirus isn't in, but we were just talking about all that, but we're done.
Okay.
Yeah, I relate.
Alright,